Well, we are very, very happy in this meeting. We have two great artists, Claudia Sbrissa and Monique Baqués, and we are very happy to share this meeting with you all. Thank you to be here. We start with Claudia.
Well, I introduce to you Claudia Sbrissa. Claudia Sbrissa's work is involved with practices of drawing, printmaking, book arts, and sculpture. Her practice is informed by her encounter with the beauty and wonder of the everyday world. Sbrissa gives shape to familiar yet enigmatic experiences through her engagement with ideas, methods, and materials. She has exhibited nationally and internationally, including shows at Art Venice in Biennale in Italy, the Museum of Anthropology in Spain, Birmingham Museum in the United Kingdom, AC Institute in New York, Art Gallery of Ontario in Canada, Museo Guillermo Pérez Chiriboga in Ecuador, Herzen Gallery in Russia, Islip Art Museum in New York, Gensler Drawing Space in New York too, Kappelhall der Dresdner Bank in Germany, Rutgers University, Massachusetts Museum of Contemporary Art, both of them in the United States, Newport Art Museum, Proyecto ACE in Buenos Aires, Argentina, Snag Mellon in New York, Urban Institute for Contemporary Arts in the United States. Sbrissa has participated in residencies including Civita Institute in Italy, Giorgio Cini Foundation, Salem Art Work in New York, Salton Stoll Foundation for the Arts in New York too, Women's Studio Workshop, New York, Park, it's Haddam, Skowhegan School of Painting and Sculpture, and Guillermo Pérez Chiribiga, Ecuador. Her work is in the collection of the Columbus Museum, the Dan Donovan Collection in Canada, Museum Guillermo Pérez Chiribiga, the Museum of Contemporary Art in Italy, and numerous private, national, and international collections. Sbrissa's work has been written about in Sculpture Magazine, New York Times, Art in America, Art News, Art Forum, and many other publications. Dear Claudia, we listen you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you all for being here this afternoon, and I'm so grateful for this opportunity to share my work. And first, I just want to thank Andrea and Gabrielle for this wonderful experience and this opportunity, and also to Monique for sharing this presentation floor with me. So I'm very excited to well, first of all, to really express my thanks to Andrea and Gabrielle, because the whole experience that I had at NAT residency, I think, is very connected to our friendship and the way that we met. So I actually met Andrea and Gabrielle in 2018 when I was involved in the Impact 10 printmaking conference, which they undertook. So I had an exhibition there, and so that's where we met. And then we continued working together for the mini print and also the Art in Nature exhibitions. So it was really a kind of very profound experience meeting them. And every time we met and every time we collaborated and worked together, I felt like my artistic experience expanded. And so it just felt very natural for me to continue working with them. And in 2021, I was able to work with them on the Traces seminar. And that I'm going to talk a little bit about the traces because it was so important for the work that I eventually did at the NAT residency. So I remember it was during COVID that we worked together, and things were still kind of off limits. I was still not really going to my studio because of the subway situation, and I remember having this very personal experience with Andrea and Gabrielle, because I was the only person on that residency or in that seminar, just because of timing and everything that worked out. So I had this really privileged encounter with them where I was really able to, mine all of their expertise. And so one of the things that they pose really very good questions, as everybody knows, and they're both questions that are arresting, but also really, expansive. So that was kind of how the seminar began, with them asking a lot of pointed questions, and how really to begin to look at your environment and to draw from that in kind of relevant ways, and maybe ways that you hadn't really perceived before. So my work is about, noticing and going out and, involved in nature. However, I'd never really done a residency this close to home. So the seminar, what it really did was it forced me to look at my environment in a very new way. And even though with COVID, I'd been spending a lot of time, obviously, in my house and in my neighborhood, it was a different, it was very different for me to begin to try to see about making something from where I lived and where I was. So I think what I'll do is I'll just bring up the traces section of the website and share some of those images. Okay, so bear with me as I share my screen. Okay. So can everybody see this?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So this is an image of me in there's like a little, I live in New York City, but this is like a green space that's very close to my house. It's actually the woods. So what my project was I decided to look at tree stumps that were in my neighborhood. So there's a lot of felled trees, and there's a lot of tree stumps all over the neighborhood. And I'd noticed them before, but I never really paid that much attention to them as I did during this residency or during this seminar. So what I started doing was going around and finding these tree stumps. I would document them. And then one of the things that I would do is I started rubbing them. So I did a series of rubbings and embossings with the tree stumps. And it was a really evocative experience, because I'd done rubbings before, but the tree stumps have a very peculiar and particular look to them. And then when you start doing the rubbings, it changes the language of them. And so suddenly you can see their characteristics develop in a very sort of particular way. So I don't know why this is not changing. Okay, I can't get it to, sorry. Let me see if I can. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, so there's, this is just a series of images of me sort of working in the woods. I'm gonna try, I don't know why I'm not able to get back to the home page here. Let me see if I can.
Cross on the right.
The cross.
Yeah,
yes.
all
Yes.
that
The
information.
on the right side.
Yeah, it's I just can't see. Let me put my glasses on. Maybe this will help. Exit full screen. Okay. All right. Okay. So, and then how do I get back here?
And again the cross.
What's that? Okay, there. Okay. So I'm just going to show a few of the rubbings. So let me, hopefully I can Is it okay? Maybe I'll just stay out of the full screen. There seems to be a, so these are just some examples of some of the rubbings that were taken from the tree stumps. And so what was really very beautiful about this was the unexpected kind of quality of the mark making and the translation of those marks in looking at the various tree stumps. So they're just done with graphite, or some of them are also done just with crayon, black crayon. But the range of the tonal range and just the line work is just really very, I don't know, it was really influential for me and really surprising in a lot of different ways. So yeah, there's just a few more. And then the next will be, let me see if I can get to them. And then there's, I'll show you just some of the embossings, which were another really interesting translation. So these are just done, there's no pigment with these. These are just done with rubbing onto the actual tree stump and picking up the not only the texture, but also the just the pigmentation or the leaching of some of the sap and some of the coloring that the tree stump actually had. So maybe I will, yes, I can. Maybe what I'll do is I'll just go to a kind of neutral page up here. So, you know, here's the, there's one of the things that Andrea and Gabrielle, you know, as many of you know who work with them, they're very, you know, we discuss a lot in terms of just talking, but one of the things that they were really helpful in doing with me is encouraging me to write down my thoughts. And so I ended up, and I've done a lot of creative writing before, but I don't necessarily always use it in my work, or not often do I use it in my work. And if I do, it's usually only a line or two. So they were very encouraging for me to actually start to take some of these thoughts that I was having, or some of the writings that I was doing for the Traces seminar, and to actually make them kind of into poetic text. So this is one of the pieces that I ended up writing from the conversations that we had. And I actually I did a video of myself doing a rubbing, and I put on top of it the text that I just showed you. So it's a very brief video. It's under 1 minute. So is it okay? Is it okay to show it? Yeah?
Yes, of course, yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know why isn't that playing? Okay. Technical stuff. Okay. I don't know why. So I'm just going to go all the way up to the top here. So so that experience was really, really powerful and wonderful, and it really helped kind of set the stage for you know, the work that I wanted to kind of accomplish moving forward. And so one of the discussions that we had was my working working in doing the NAT residency. And so the really interesting thing, maybe, should I stop sharing my screen for a minute? Maybe I'm going to talk for a minute, so maybe I'll just come over here. Okay. Anyway, one of the conversations that we had was my doing the NAT residency, but the COVID situation was still kind of pretty preclusive for me at that time. And I had a sabbatical, and that was really when I decided I teach at university. So I really wanted to go during that time, but I wasn't able to. So 2 years went by before I was able to actually, come on the NAT residency. So that was this May. And it was a really wonderful, anticipated time. So I was really excited to come and to continue kind of doing some of this exploratory work and to continue working with Andrea and Gabrielle on this. And I really tried very hard not to come with a project and not to really think about what I was doing. And so it was really wonderful to finally arrive at this place, this very beautiful place in Cantabria, and to get kind of set up. And it was wonderful the way that Andrea and Gabrielle have it set up so that the artists come, they meet, we get ourselves situated, we do our grocery shopping, and everything kind of gets settled. And then you have the 2 days of going, sort of being introduced to the caves. And that experience of being introduced to the caves was really, really remarkable in so many ways. I didn't think about it so much at the time, about its relationship to my work. And I remember when we were brought to the caves, entering into the cave, and one of the most kind of profound things for me was experiencing their size, how big they were, and just walking into this semi-dark space and being led or guided by the guide who was there, but also by Andrea and Gabrielle. So feeling very, I don't know if vulnerable is necessarily the right word, but feeling, I was in awe and sort of amazed at the experience of being in this space and of being guided through this space. And then to see the cave drawings and to connect with that history of the art making and what it meant, the mystery of it, how beautiful and poignant they were. You had all of these artists who we don't really know, we don't know anything about them. We don't even know why really they made the work that they made, but there's some really strong connection that I felt, and I think other people feel, being in that cave, connecting to not only them as artists, but them as people, them as, expressing something about their life and themselves, and really reaching to express something even larger than themselves. And so the whole experience of walking into these caves, was really profound and left a really big impact on me that I think didn't really start to make sense to me until I started actually working myself on the work that I was doing for the residency. So, I began, I think it's just such a powerful experience to be there and to walk along the landscape. And, I was really very drawn, as I think most people are, to the beauty of the ocean and the cliffs, and, just we had just absolutely beautiful weather when we were there. It was sunny and the sky was blue and the clouds were fluffy, and it was just gorgeous. And I remember the very first day walking out and, walking toward the ocean. And I went up to the cliff, and the ocean was very strong and it was crashing against the rocks, and I could smell the salt in the air, and it was just magnificent. It was so beautiful, so powerful, and evocative, and all the colors of the ocean. It was just really tremendous. but it was also kind of overwhelming. I was, in a way, just kind of mesmerized by the ocean, but overwhelmed by it at the same time. And this is kind of, this first day is kind of where this whole kind of thing began for me. And I remember that Andrea and Gabrielle were encouraging us very much not to think about what a project would be, or not to think about, not to think so much about what it was that we were going to do, but to sort of really allow the experience to kind of guide us and lead us. And so what they did in a way was, I guess, similar to what was happening in the Traces seminar, except in the Traces seminar, they had a series of questions that they asked, but in the NAT residency, bringing us to the caves and bringing us into this really beautiful environment was the question that they asked. So without even asking the question, they made the question arise from the way that they contextualized it for us, and also the way that they allowed for us to work together with the other residents. So I thought that that was a really beautiful, and of course I didn't think about that until later, until now, when I'm thinking about all of this other, you know, the meaning to what it is that I did. So it was really kind of profound for me then to be in front of this magnificent ocean that was huge, kind of like the caves were. But then to think then about the detail of the individual artists making these beautiful pieces in much the same way. All of a sudden I was looking at the ocean, and all of a sudden I turned around kind of to get a break or to stabilize myself. I don't know what it was, but I turned around. And all of a sudden I looked and I saw the meadow that was behind me. And, you know, the fields are just so beautiful around this whole area, the farmers' fields, and they're just green, and they're softly, you know, blowing with the ocean breeze, and they're like dancing, you know, and all the little flowers, the meadow flowers were just so beautiful and just radiant. And I was just so drawn to them and their movement and their beauty and their delicacy. And in a way, the detail of them, you know, later I kind of put this together, you know, it's the enormity of the place and then the detail of the flower. And, you know, I just kind of, it was almost like they were inviting me by the way that they were sort of moving in the wind, and sort of looked like they were bowing and sort of opening their arms. And it was very moving to me. And what was happening as well was when I was standing there, some of the petals of the flowers had come off, and they were, you know, around me, and I gathered them, and I had a little sketchbook, and I put them in my sketchbook. And that's actually what my project ended up being. It ended up being collecting the petals and flowers of the meadow. And then I would bring them back to the studio, and I would press them and dry them. And then, you know, it was really interesting because when I was putting them into my sketchbook, the kind of compositions that were arising from them were partially my, you know, laying them down, but also they moved around a lot in transport. And by the time I brought them home, they were sort of, they had shifted around. But it was this really beautiful way that they kind of had their own voice in how it was that they were being placed. And so I really tried to, you know, look at that and think about that when I set them to dry. And then when I took them out again, I then pressed them into little pieces of paper. And the pieces of paper were almost like little cards. They were folded over paper. I then glued them down to them. And I again, of course, in the conversation with Gabrielle and Andrea, we talked a lot about, you know, what this meant and how it was that I was, you know, thinking about this. And I started writing about, you know, what this meant. So each one of them sort of has a caption to them as well. And what you see here in the background is the text for it. And so I'm just going to, hopefully now I can show each one of these. So what I'll do is I will show the page spread, and I'll read each of them so that you can sort of get an understanding of what they are separately as page spreads, and then what they look like together as a book, because that's what the end result of this was, a book. So this first page is the gathering, exalt, opening their eyes to the kiss of a new day, the work of stars, keepers of the light, scatterings from heaven, scattering seeds from heaven, walking in the dawn of morning, growing from a dark place, earth to seed and then a flower, according to its nature, on the shortness of life, a breeze moves through. They move in silence, they move in song. Close your eyes and listen with your heart. Playing in the wind, they sing and dance. Swaying, shivering, swinging, shivering, swaying. They greet me as a friend, bowing, inviting me in. Everyone is a poem. For her, the starry way, Mary's gold. All is gift. For us, the generosity of creation. So the book ended up, those are all the spreads, and then the book ended up kind of coming together as a sculptural form. So this is me kind of putting it together, and these are just some images of what the book looks like from a sort of aerial view and in the round. So this is the book not put together, so it's not sewn together, but it's just right now just kind of existing as a free form. At least it was in this case. So. And then the second book that I made was one that was a direct, I guess, inspiration from I Turned Around and Saw a Meadow. And I'd wanted to make this book as soon as I turned around and saw the meadow. But I made this book at the very last few days that I was at the residency. And it's an accordion fold book. And basically, it's made up of rubbings of pieces of grass that I did with crayon. And there's also blind embossing on the other side. It's really hard to document and you can't really see it, but when you close the book, it's there's some blind embossing on it. And then the flower pieces they're just the petals from, the collected petals from the meadow. So, so this is the work that I made, and I'm, profoundly happy with it in the sense of, just the way that it captured so much exactly what it was that I was experiencing at the residency. I'm also so happy that it continued the work that I was doing at the Traces seminar. It also really expanded my way of just being open to the particular beauty that's all around us, the ephemerality, and the way that things that may seem small have a very profound meaning. And also, one of the things that was really surprising to me was just before I left the residency, I wrote a little note to myself about being on the residency, and I wrote the words like a child or childlike, and I forgot about it. And then at the end of the residency, I found the note. And also it was really interesting because one of the conversations that Gabrielle, I think, was both Gabrielle and Andrea spoke about this kind of way that this work is, you know, seemingly simple, there's complexity to it, but that it, you know, is kind of from this point of view of a child, or the point of view of you know, maybe the awe and wonder that's involved in it. And I think that that's really was, so in that way, I think the work is really successful, because that was my motivation from the beginning, to move away from complicated theoretical kind of underpinnings to my work, and these ideas of trying to control every little thing, and just kind of allow the experience to direct and guide me, and to be, you know, as I said, I've worked with nature so much, but to actually allow nature to speak to me and to have this collaboration. So yeah, so I'm just so profoundly grateful for all the experiences that I've had with Andrea and Gabrielle, the way that they have offered so much in the way of generosity to me and to the whole community, and it's such a gift. And I think this work for me really reflects, you know, and speaks about sort of just the joy of fellowship, and the joy of you know, celebrating creation, and celebrating our lives in that creation. So thank you very much.
Many thanks.
Thanks to you,
Many thanks,
dear Claudia.
Claudia. Many thanks. Many thanks. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Well, we continue now with Monique.
Monique Baqués. Monique is a visual artist born in Argentina and currently based in Brisbane. Employs the language of color to convey profound emotions, depict her work, and narrate meaningful tales. Her artistic practice revolves around the medium of collage on oil on canvas, delving into the interplay of colors, shapes, and spaces. Monique holds a bachelor's degree in Fine Arts from the National School of Fine Arts Prilidiano Pueyrredón in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Following her marriage at the age of 25, she relocated to Chile, where she pursued a postgraduate degree in arts management at the University of Chile. Throughout her life's journey, she has ventured to France, the Netherlands, and Malaysia, immersing herself in diverse multicultural encounters that have enriched her creative pursuits. In 2012, Monique and her 3 young children settled in Australia. With a wide range of exhibitions across Argentina, Europe, Asia, and Australia, Monique Baqués has garnered a global following of collectors who appreciate her work. She earned recognition to winning the Oxfam Design Competition for their 2004 postcards in The Hague, represented Argentina at the esteemed Art Expo Malaysia 2010, and more recently, she was selected by the Brisbane City Council to showcase her captivating collection, Abstract Journey and Paraiso, at their city square. Dear Monique, many thanks. And
hi, thank you everybody. I'm here. Thank you everybody for being here, really, and be willing to listen to our work. And of course, thank you for Andrea and Gabrielle. They are amazing. My experience is, it was really very important, because I was very anxious before going to the residency. I never did a residency before, so and then fly from Australia to Spain, and I didn't know what I was going to expect. I look at the videos of the other artists, so I had an idea of not thinking about anything. And that is very difficult for me because the head is all the time working. But then, well, we arrived and everything was fine. And Claudia and the other artist, Butsi, they were amazing and they were very, very warm with me. So I felt at home. And then, well, we went to the supermarket, we did everything, we sleep, and the next day was full 2 days of going to visit the caves. I have to tell you that before when I was young, I saw the Altamira cave, but I never had any impact in me. It was just like, okay, this is the cave, this is the drawing, this is Mona Lisa. So I study everything, and then I spent going to Europe looking at all these things, but I never had the time to pause and feel and see. So the first day we went to Altamira and we were there all very excited, and we entered the cave and we start talking about the ancient artists. And I asked Gabriel, but why they did this? And Gabriel looked at me and said, doesn't matter why. And suddenly I look at him and I was so afraid. I said, no, but I really need to know why. So at that moment, I was really shocked. And now, 3 months, I'm thinking about that moment, and I can realize that I was really stuck the last 5 years thinking about the why and trying to find the solution, why we create. I was so stuck in the why that I couldn't create almost anything. So that was the first thing that I really changed my mind even today, the why. I have to forget about the why. The second thing is we went the next day to see other caves. And I think that was the Castillo cave that when we saw the caves, we get out of the cave, and in the entrance, you can see all the layers of the soil of all the periods of the people that were living in the cave or not. It was the glacier period, the Paleolithic period, and if I am not mistaken, it was until 100,000 years ago. And it was like 20 meters up. So I was looking at that and I was really thinking, wow, I was imagining the cave before being discovered in 1903, all full of soil. And I started thinking the cave was hidden because it was difficult to arrive there. And then the entrance was very small and it was full of earth and full of soil. And in order to see the wonders that the cave has, the drawings and all the magnificent art, you have to excavate, you have to take it out. So I was thinking about this and about the similarities of the cave and myself. So I was thinking, oh, the cave, because every time you enter a cave, we enter, I think, that 8 caves. Every time they tell you the same, the cave is very delicate, it's very sensitive to the breathing of the people. So that's the reason they have limited amount of people that visit per day. You cannot touch anything. It's very fragile, and it has treasures inside, but it's not so easy to enter. There is no light. So I start thinking, okay, you know, I start thinking I'm the cave. I felt that I have a lot of treasures or things that I have to discover, but I have to start dig in somehow. I realized I was sort of lost and I didn't see my reflection because of the daily life and my business and everything. So I was really like lost, and I thought, okay, I'm the cave. So the next day I said, guys, I know what I'm going to do. I'm the cave. And Andrea and Gabriel, because they are all the time looking at everything you do, everything you see, how you move, what you think, everything. You seem that they are not paying attention to you, but they are all the time there. Taking an X-ray of your personality. It's amazing how they have this talent. And so I said, I'm the cave. Okay. And then I was chatting with Claudia and chatting with Bootsy. Everybody was chatting, and I didn't pass through that thought. I am very, very simple, and I don't write. I'm very bad writing. So Andrea and Gabriel said, well, you know what, you have to start writing. And I don't know what, I used to wake up at 3 a.m. and so I started writing at 3 a.m. At the beginning, very simple words, because I think that I'm sort of dyslexic. So I was like, I'm the cave, layers, very, very simple, but it was very powerful for me. So the next day, we went to the supermarket, and Andrea and Gabriel said, okay, here we have a place where you can buy the things to do your project. And I look at them and I said, I don't know what I'm going to do. The only thing I know is I'm the cave. So I said, go. So the girls were there and they went together, and I thought, I am not going to go with them, because if I go with them, I will buy whatever they do, because I am so insecure. I don't know what I'm going to do. So I said, okay. I grabbed a basket, and I start walking. And then I start buying things like chains, pegs, all things that catch my eye, and a lot of shiny things. And because I like shiny things that reflects things, material things. Anyway, so then I saw these masks, plastic masks and paper masks, and I said, oh, layers. Layers, you're taking so this is how I thought. So I bought 7 masks and some gloves. And anyway, when I went to the cashier, Gabriel started looking at me, said, no, he couldn't say anything, but he was laughing. And I was thinking, oh, I did everything wrong. Oh my God. Anyway, so I bought so the next day, I woke up so happy, and I said, okay, I have the mask. I will bury it in the sand. I know this beautiful beach because I walk a lot. So every day I walk like 8Ks or 10Ks, and I go all around. I said, I have this place, I want to do this. So Gabriel and Andrea came, and I said, I have everything done. I'm going to do this. I'm going to bury the mask. I'm going to project myself in one of the masks. And they were like, First of all, Andrea asked me, if I see these, it doesn't mean that you're talking about yourself. It means that I go for a beach and I found a treasure in the beach. And then you project yourself in the mask. No. You have to be there. And I was like, and then Gabriel said, yes. And then you have to think about the limit of what you want to express. You have to, where is the limit of your vulnerability? You have to think all these things. So for me, usually I enter the studio and I start collage, painting, drawings, and I work for maybe 2-3 months, and then I realize what I am doing. But I never sit down with an emotion, with a consciousness, saying I'm going to work this and these are the limits. I never do that, never. So for me, everything was so difficult because I was working in a very different method. So I was really shocked, and I thought, oh, now I don't know what I'm going to do. I was really stressed because I didn't want to make something that was not up to the standards. I was doing something different. I'm a painter. I never do performance. So anyway, so then after all this, I'm working about emotions, and every time I don't know what to do, I go to the dictionary and I start reading the definition of the words, and I start trying to understand. Well, until after all this, that was really like very, very struggle for me. But it was good because I was talking with Claudia and I was talking with Bootsy, and they were really supportive. They were all the time saying, "Oh, you know what? Just do whatever you have to do." And then we have to present on Friday, and I think that was by Wednesday afternoon. Andrea and Gabriel came. "Well, Monique, what do what do you have?" And I said, "Well, I have this. Okay, let's record it now." And I was like, "No, yes. No, I have to go and take my mustard out." They were laughing. And anyway, and so we concentrate, and of course, it was something for me very important. And each of the masks means something for me. And I was working, and all the things that I wrote were in the mask. And so when I take the mask, this is the video that we are going to show, I really mean it, and I really feel it. And I felt so much free and happy, and it changed my perspective. I still feel very relaxed and feel very, very comfortable with my art and with myself after this 3 minutes video. And then after we show the video in a minute, and then I thought I have to do something with this, with the result of this mask, and I have to. We talk about burning the mask and making disappear, and then I thought, no, I have to break them, and I have to keep them, because I have to have it in my studio every time I'm going to work. I have to see that mask, that the leftovers, the scraps, to remind me not to fall again in the same pattern or in the same way that you cannot feel free. So I have them here, all the rest. So yes, so if you want to show, Andrea.
Okay, yes. Bueno,
So yes, yeah, you can see how the masks were worked from outside with a needle because I didn't have anything else. But mainly it was, all the work was inside the mask. That is because the work has to be inside myself, not so. I think that Andrea and Gabriel taught me a lot of things, things that it will keep with me all my life, I think, because I didn't realize all these methods and things, how to evaluate and put limits and to work. So I'm so grateful. Thank you, guys.
Thanks to you. Thanks to you.
Thank you, Monique.
Yeah. Many thanks, Monique. Many thanks.
Well,
I'm going to open, please, the microphones to all. We invite all of you to talk with Monique and with Claudia. So we have a lot of people. Maybe I cannot see everyone. So if not, please let us know.
Guido, are you?
Okay, where to start? This is always a big question.
Yes. Yes, please.
But okay, let's start with Monique a little bit. I see that in a way, would it be nice to see what was inside the mask? But I guess this was something you wanted to keep for yourself. And once you did it, you didn't want the world to see what was inside a mask as a reflection of what is inside you. And I don't know if this is part of the way you work, as you said in the beginning, some kind of insecurity. So what I did have to be destroyed before everybody could see it. And as always happened with these residents, these have to be recorded somehow. And this is, in a way, to me, is this ephemeral art, or is something that I want to show it, but not really show it? So do you have any answer to that, Monique?
Yes, I think that it's about when Gabriel came and asked me, at which point are you going to show everything or not? What do you want to show? And I thought I didn't want to show everything, but because I thought that doesn't matter, because all of us has layers of things that we think that we put the layers to protect ourselves, or we have to keep going. But at the end, it's so personal that I think that it's universal, that everybody can relate. Maybe I'm wrong, but if you want to know about the mask, I catalog in different subjects. When I was writing about emotions, I realized that there was a lot of things that they were putting bars to my life and not allowing me to be fully myself. One was the view, the public view, how the other people look at me, and if I am a professional, if I am a failure. It was a very important thing for me. The second mask is how I see myself, is the imposter syndrome. Everything that is all the time in my head and cannot allow me to be free. The third one was the fears, and the fears was when I cut myself, and it was so painful. These 3 minutes of video was a whole morning, and I was really breathing and really meaning that I was breaking, and I don't want to have these fears that don't allow me to be whoever I want to be. Then the other one the fourth one was about invisibility. I'm asking people to see myself, but I don't see myself. So that's ironic. I have to first know who I am and show who I am, but I was not showing, so I cannot complain if the people don't see me how I want to see. And the last one was, of course, the traumas of my life. You know, everybody has traumas from the childhood, and still things that we cannot process, things that they are bothering us. And I struggle a lot with being a mom, and so that also is things that they are there that I should have not done this and that, and you know. So at the end, I think that everybody can, if I can help in somewhere, and everybody can take at least one mask, and you can feel what I feel now, that you feel free, you feel relaxed, you feel in peace. It's amazing. So I would be very happy.
Many thanks.
Many thanks, Monique and Guido.
I would like to say that Monique she's making a very big effort to be in this meeting now, because she's in Australia and it's supposed to be 3 a.m. there, I guess.
By now it's 4:06.
Oh, okay. Well, many thanks, Monique, for
your effort.
For your effort. And I would like to say that Claudia Sbrissa Monique sends you regards, and she couldn't be here because she didn't have a very good Wi-Fi connection. So she would love to be here, but she couldn't. So you have your microphone off, so if you would like to turn on. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, I'll have to email her, but if you talk to her, please tell her thank you. I know I've had some problems connecting with her because of her bad Wi-Fi, so thank you. Yeah, that's great.
Well, someone else would like to say something, to add something?
One more thing to Claudia now.
Okay, Guido.
If it's not too much monopolizing, but if somebody wants to ask first.
Don't worry.
Don't worry.
So, Claudia, this was done after the residence, the tree stump, or before? I couldn't figure out the sequence. And
no,
also, where are those woods in New York City?
So I live in Queens, and the Queens in New York, which is still in the city, but there's a forest. It's called Forest Park, and that's very, very close to my house. So that series of work was done in 2021. That was much before the residency. Yeah. I know.
Sorry, Guido and Claudia, we are neighbors because both of you live in New York.
Yeah, and I thought.
Bye, Meredith. I don't know if you are here.
Yeah.
Where
do you live?
We are in Riverside Drive in the Upper West Side.
Ah, you're in Riverside Drive. Okay. Are you in Riverside Drive right now?
No.
No.
I'm like, where are you? Yeah, that's great. That's great. Beautiful.
But those remind me of the area Forever Wild, that is the Upper Riverside Park, that is full of stumps and dead trees. It's part of the sanctuary that extends from 116 to 100.
Yeah, these are actually stumps that are cut down from people's just their homes, and actually they're mostly on that part of the lawn that's called the verge. You know, it's the public part that's usually in front of people's houses. So there's these giant tree stumps all over the place. They're all over Forest Hills and Kew Gardens, which is the area that we live, Forest Park. That's it used to be well, I mean, it still is a very treed area, and they built it to replicate some garden cities in the UK, especially around London. So a lot of the trees and over the years have, you know, died or fallen or whatever, and so they've just cut them down, but they're like everywhere. It's unbelievable. Yeah, surprising. I know in New York you wouldn't think that, right?
Many thanks, Guido and Claudia. Somebody else would like to say something?
Please, Susan, you. Yes. Next encounter is with Susan
Yes.
and Palma. Yeah, but in Spanish.
You have your microphone off.
Perfect. Okay, I love the work of Meredi the Mask. It's Monique, sorry. I love the work of Monique. The Mask is too strong, and I also like to say to her that I love the final piece. I think it's too strong, the pieces in the jump. And I love the work of Claudia, the beauty of routine of the sampling. It's very strong that how you can find a powerful piece in something very, very minimalist. And also connected with the work he showed in 2018 in Cantabria.
Yeah.
Yes, you at that time you have the exhibition in the same room in the Museum of Anthropology.
Yeah.
So it was amazing. Yes.
Yeah, it's like that. How strong is a small piece of paper? I always surprised about that.
Yeah. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, if you don't want to add anything else, I would like to Monique and Claudia give us some words before leaving.
Claudia, you first.
Me first, okay. Well, I just, as I said, I'm really just very grateful to have had this experience. I recognize what a gift it is, and it's just one of the most, I guess, lasting things for me was the connection. I use that word already, but the connection definitely between myself and my work, but you know, I just and the continuing you know, connection with Andrea and Gabrielle, but also to have worked with Monique and with the other artist Bootsy. It was just a very beautiful time, a very time to learn and grow together. I just think the whole experience, you know, the wonder about this residency, and it's so unique because I've been to some residencies, and this was very different in the sense of the continuity of the beautiful relationships that Gabrielle and Andrea really try so hard to create. And I really felt that, and I felt being part of it is such a privilege. It was an honor, and I really feel that myself as an artist and as a person, a growth from that, and just a gratitude for having shared that with the people that I was with, and so I'm grateful, and I'm thank you so much.
Many thanks. Many thanks. Yeah, Claudia. We have a message from Connie.
A message from Connie. Please, Connie.
Yeah.
Tell us. Don't write us. Please.
Well, I said to myself that I was going to attend the Zoom meeting to support Monique. You can probably guess that I am her sister. But it's a pleasure to actually tell you both, Claudia and Monique, that it takes a lot of courage to share the process of the creative process. And artists, I am not an artist, but my direct experience with artists is that you have to be very sensitive. You have to feel things very deeply in order to create and to produce those wonderful works of art, and to be able to show that openly to others and expose yourself and be ready, you know, show your vulnerability, your fragility and your strength at the same time is actually fantastic. So I wanted to thank you both for this, for opening this journey and sharing it with us. Thank you. Thank you. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Claudia. So sweet. Well, Monique, after that
Me, I love
beautiful
you
words of your
guys. I
sister,
love you.
please tell us.
Oh, no, really. I think that I haven't done other residency, but if this is the residency, I am so happy I did it, and I felt so safe. And I couldn't make this work if I were in another place with other people. So I really want to thank you that you are the mirror that I can see myself again. And that is something that is priceless. Thank you very much.
Many thanks, Monique, for your words. Many thanks, Claudia, also. We know that you made a big effort here, working very hard to go beyond your work, and you did it. So we are very proud of you and very happy, and we love you. We love your work, and we love you as a people. And thank you really very much for sharing. As Connie said, you are very brave to share with a lot of people your feelings. So thank you for this. Thank you.
Thank you.
And the work was developed in a short period of time of 10 days. Only 10 days. Yeah.
10 days.
Well, thank you very much, Claudia. Thank you very much, Monique.
Thank you.
We love you a lot.
We love you.
And we hope to see you in the near future.
Yes.
To have you.
And congratulations,
for your
amazing work.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, and thank you to all of you.
Sorry, there is Elizabeth that would like to say something. Elizabeth, please.
Sí, pero lo voy a decir en español y ustedes lo traducen.
Okay.
Bueno, me encantó.
Trataremos.
Quería felicitar a las dos artistas. Sus trabajos son hipersensibles, maravillosos, me encantaron. Ese contacto directo con la naturaleza que realiza Claudia. Yo aquí también muy cerca del bosque tengo experiencias fantásticas, así que me tocó el corazón. Bellísimo. El trabajo de las máscaras muy fuerte. Ustedes saben por dónde me toca. Fue unos trabajos impresionantes. Bueno, así que felicitarlas y bueno, que nos están dando un empuje fuerte para las residencias también. Así que miles de gracias por este momento.
Well, I try to translate it.
Sorry. Monique can translate very well.
No.
Yeah.
Claudia, you understand. You understand.
No,
Claudia,
don't worry.
yes, you
It's too late for you. It's too late for you, my dear.
Argentina.
Elizabeth would like to thank Monique and Claudia for your work. They are very sensitive. Elizabeth, she lives close to the forest, so she knows very well the south of Argentina, so she knows very well the connection that Claudia had with the trees in New York. And for Monique, for the strength of your work, and she felt very pushed to continue working, and for the residency also, so she thanks to you. Yes, and I think that Laura, ¿tú quieres decir algo? tenías la mano levantada, quizás
No,
era...
era Connie que tenía la mano levantada.
Ah, ok.
Y Connie, no, okay.
Yo había puesto un aplauso, era una reacción de
Eso es lo
aplauso
que
para
vi.
felicitarlas.
Bien, ok.
She congrats to
Laura,
both of you.
both. So thank you very much for everybody. It was really a very nice meeting and very sensitive, very strong. And Pity is writing something.
Thank you.
Pity, she doesn't want to say anything. Okay. Pity says, okay, thank you for everything. And many thanks to all, really, to be here. So we send you a big hugs to all, and see you.
Thank all of you.
Yes.
And dear Claudia, dear Monique,
Many thanks.
we love you.
And go
Thank you.
Love you too. Love you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much to you and the artist.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.